Coming up now is another sparkling Two Mikes podcast.
Just the other week, you were talking about flying cars, and I was kind of dismissing the idea because I thought, there's no way that they can put a flying car up anytime soon. Yeah. But I think Jonathan's going to disagree and say that it might be possible. Jonathan, very good morning to you.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's really exciting. And flying cars, that's like the big thing people ask about when they talk about, well, when's the future going to be here? Well, it's when I get my flying car. Right. And there are a whole bunch of companies trying to make it happen soon.
But is it really a flying car, or is it just a kind of a mini helicopter? Because some of the things I've seen look as if they're just really little helicopters.
Yeah, I think it's more fair to say they are a quadcopter drone on steroids. Right. So if you're familiar with the quadcopters that use with a remote control, it's like that, but much bigger. In most of the cases, the designs are some version of that. It's vertical takeoff and landing, like a helicopter. And I would say it looks more like a drone than a traditional car does. But on the flip side of it, by doing the VTOL strategy, you don't need any sort of landing strip or any kind of runway. You just take off vertically, and then you can tilt the rotors or actually tilt the whole vehicle. But I think that might be a little distressing for a passenger in order to move forward.
Well, I mean, Jonathan, I think it's amazing that in this day and age, and the way that we technology has advanced so rapidly throughout the last part of the 20th century, early part of the 21st, that we don't have cars now whereby if you're on the freeway and you come up behind a car in front of you that's going too slow, you should just be able to press a button, lift your car up into the air, go over the car in front of you, not around it like we do now on the road, and just keep going. Surely the technology's there to do that. I mean, blimey, do you remember Supercar, a kids' programme from sort of 40 years ago? It just used to get in it, and it just used to shoot up into the air.
Well, I'm of the age where I remember Danger Mouse and the flying cars. Yes. So, yeah, I agree fully with you. We should definitely be there by now. The interesting thing to me is that most of the ones that are being proposed right now are autonomous flying cars. And when you think about it, that to me makes more sense than something that would be under the passenger's control, because as you say, we already see maniac drivers on the road terrestrially. Can you imagine what they would be like if they were flying overhead? So, you've got a company called eHang, which is out of China. They've got this enormous quadcopter-style drone that they've already been showing off. They showed it off at 2016 in Las Vegas at the CES that year. I saw it in person this past CES at 2017's event. And then you've got Airbus. They've got Project Vahana. They're planning on having a working prototype by the end of this year. The eHang one's supposed to be flying in Dubai by July. Wow. And then Uber has Uber Elevate. They just hired a guy from NASA to be the head of their director of technology.
See, that's amazing.
So everyone's really gung-ho.
Yeah.
But what is the difference between these projects then and sort of passenger drones? Because there's developments on that front as well, right? So is a flying car the same thing as a passenger drone or not?
In these terms, I would say they are essentially the same thing. No one has come up with something that looks like the Jetsons car or anything that's remotely resembling the cars that you and I are familiar with. These are really, they're cars in name only. They're really drones. The interesting thing to me is there's a notable person who is saying that flying cars are a terrible idea. We absolutely should not do it. And it's someone that I think a lot of people are surprised by, and that's Elon Musk, the guy behind SpaceX and Tesla. Yeah. He's saying, all it takes is one terrible mistake where a rotor comes flying off, and then you've got a tragedy on your hands. And with enough flying cars in the air, the question is, it's a matter of time. So also, we've got people trying to make driverless cars on the road, and we haven't cracked that nut yet either. So how does going into the air where you have extra dimensions to worry about, how is that easier?
Yeah, but the thing is, any new technology is going to be fraught with mistakes. You know, when we first built trains, they came off the railway lines. And when we first built cars, we had a puncture and somebody was killed. It's always going to happen. Jonathan, can we move on? Because I love this story about office sensors when you leave your desk. Now, Mr. Graham and I, the two of us here, we were brought up in a world of newspapers where what you did was, classically, you left your jacket on the back of your chair at the desk where you were sitting, and then you disappeared to the pub downstairs, but you left your jacket there to make your boss think that you had just nipped off to the toilet or something. You know what I mean?
Other people sometimes kept their jackets on all the time, so that whether or not they were there, they knew that that the jacket was around.
That's right, and you always left a sort of half-open newspaper with a pen on top of it or something like that. Now, under this new system, apparently the seat you sit in and the desk you sit at will monitor all the time into a computer just how long you've been there, where you've gone, and how much work you're doing. This is a bit Big Brotherish, isn't it?
I think it certainly has the potential to be incredibly invasive, and it goes even further than what you were suggesting, because there are certain systems that include microphones that detect how frequently and how long you speak to fellow employees. Now, that might be to monitor how well teamwork is going in certain projects, but you could also argue, like, you're a real chatty Cathy. You need to shut your mouth and get to work. That could be...
also, I mean, most people
at every desk.
And most people now, Jonathan, have some form of pass to get electronically through the security in wherever they work. And, I mean, I've heard stories of where that can be basically tracked as well, right? So you can track the person while they're inside the building as to where they're actually going and where they're spending time.
Absolutely. I mean, there are multiple methodologies. You could do RFID, you could do low-energy Bluetooth, but the point is there are plenty of different ways where you could set up sensors, and then whatever your pass is just to get into the office is an activator. And every time you pass by one of those sensors, it has a little ping, and it says, oh, well, Jonathan has just walked through the break room again. Yeah. Jonathan is the reason our coffee costs so much.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what I think could happen here, Jonathan. In the early days of factories in Britain, they had what they called a clocking in and clocking off card. You know, you put this card into a machine when you came in the morning, and you put it into the machine when you left in the evening, and you were paid for how much time you were there. What about getting a lowly employee in the same company as you to sit at your desk whilst you're out at the cocktail bar having a swift drink?
So you're saying I would hire an employee to act as my jacket on the back of my chair?
Absolutely.
I like it because it creates jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. It's trickle-down economics, that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want people to be at work. I want people to feel like they are contributing to society, and if it means that I can pop on downstairs and grab a drink, that's amazing.
Sure.
Although you won't find very many people down there drinking these days because people keep being banned from drinking alcohol during the day. But let's talk about cyber attacks as well, because with the Trump presidency, he's been talking an awful lot about leaks and the press and all that kind of thing. And clearly, he said that everybody is now at risk of being attacked by, whether it's the Russians, whether it's the Chinese, some form of cyber attack. Has cybersecurity got any better?
Well, cybersecurity is at a pretty good state. The problem is that the weakest link in any security system is always going to be the people, and we don't have enough buy-in from the general public and specifically from government employees around the world in the proper security measures, and that leaves our systems much more vulnerable. On top of that, we're seeing a lot more state-sponsored hackers, meaning that they have the backing of entire governments buying the fastest machines and the most sophisticated software. So we're getting to a point where it's like a cyber arms race, and the people who want to get into systems are starting to really pick up a lot of steam. And meanwhile, we're still kind of lagging behind when it comes to educating and using best practices to make sure our systems remain safe.
I mean, everybody goes on about, we're warding off 6 or 8 cyber attacks a day, but actually, isn't this all a sort of, aren't people creating work here for, what is the truth of the matter? Do we have enough secrets for the Russians to want to steal them? Because I get the impression that everybody now in the whole world knows what everybody else is doing all the time.
Well, I just have to ring up that guy Stephen Flynn. He can tell me.
Exactly. That is the consequence of the computer world.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also a fear not just of stealing secrets, which, and as you point out, we've gotten into a world where information is synonymous with power and money, and everyone is in everyone else's back pocket. The other issue is compromising these systems so that should there ever come a time where things escalate, you could quite possibly mess with very important infrastructure in another country's systems. For example, the Ukraine recently has accused, or at least government officials in the Ukraine have accused Russia of infiltrating their power grid system. And that has the potential to cause great mischief at the very least. And so when you start looking at those kind of critical systems, you see where the worry is, where the concern is. And I think it's going to just escalate from here. It's not going to get better for a while, particularly now that we're in the world where more and more stuff gets connected to the internet that actually create more and more opportunities to exploit vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, listen, Jonathan, thank you very much.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Strickland there from How Things Work. I mean, he's right there, because one of the things that is absolutely crippling to anyone is a power cut.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a power outage at your house, or your block goes out, or for some reason some part of the country that you live in,
or if
you're
on a stand at Excel, for instance.
Well, yeah, that happened funnily enough, didn't it? Well, I mean, how difficult was that to fix?
Well, I don't know, but the problem was it was only our stand that went out, and then
after
our microphones went out, because we were trying to do a broadcast with Harry Redknapp to the crowds who'd gathered to watch us do a live show, and it all stopped.
That's what I mean. And because now everything in your house is run on electricity, it's almost impossible to do anything.
Yeah.
So if people start messing around with that kind of thing, it is not good news.
These Grammy Awards, I mean, the psycho fantasy and
what?
The sheer
sycophantasy.
Yeah, the sheer ridiculously of the showbiz community. Now, every time they get together, they've got to become a political bloc.
Oh, yeah.
Which is usually about, we love poor people, we're all speaking up for poor people, and I didn't want this award. My friend Beyonce should have got this award because, I've won it in 6 years now. That's Adele, sort of crocodile tears.
Adele. That's quite good, Adele.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Crying these crocodile tears for winning another award, I mean,
I'm ever so humble.
Self-indulgent nonsense.
She's sort of female version of Uriah Heep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm sorry I swore, but, I've loved George Michael. He means such a lot to me. Well, yeah, it meant a lot to a lot of people, but, we don't have to all go around effing and blinding about it, but there we go.
And also this business of, I'm sorry to have to do it again, but I have to get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, almost that is all rehearsed as well now.
Yeah, stop, let's start again, got to get it right.
Thank God we don't do that, because we'll be starting all the way through the show.
Exactly, that's right.
Because we don't get a lot of things right.
No, well, speak for yourself on that one. And then old Ken Loach, who I've barely heard of. He's quite a famous film producer.
Ken Loach is a very famous filmmaker, yes. He's made some very good films, actually.
And, stands up, an unelected man, to tell the world from his showbiz podium some of the actions of the government are disgraceful. All right, thanks, Ken, that's your opinion. But, there's quite a lot of people in this country who voted for policies which you are now interpreting as disgraceful.
And, of course, a lot of these refugee children that he says we promised to bring to this country that he says we're now not allowing in are quite
these are the 13-year-olds, are they?
Quite a lot bigger than him.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. How many of them
put too fine a point on it.
How many of them are being accommodated by Mr. Loach and his
Well, I've got no doubt that Mr. Loach does good things for the community at large.
His dependents, eh?
I know, I'm sure he does good things for the community at large. I'm sure he gives a lot of money to charity and all of that stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, they are becoming a bit of a parody of themselves, these award ceremonies, aren't they?
That's what I'm saying. It's becoming so boring now. You've got old Meryl Streep over in America. You've got people here. Which awards were they, by the way?
Well, it was the Grammys in America. And it was the BAFTAs here.
Oh, the BAFTAs,
which is always the prelim to the Oscars.
Yeah, okay,
So we'll have more of that, won't we?
And the point is, what they don't
quite... Because Meryl Streep was at the Golden Globes. That was her...
That's right, yeah. What they don't quite understand is that these ceremonies are supposed to pay tribute to those of their profession who've done outstanding things and won outstanding awards.
Yeah.
But if you ask me
They've
now...
become very different things, haven't
No,
they?
if you ask me now, so who were the award winners and what were the films they won the awards for, I couldn't tell you.
No.
Because it's all... They're so selfish, these people.
Well, you must know that La La Land won a lot, because that got lots of mentions.
Yeah, I knew that. But what I'm saying... But some guy who wasn't fancied for the Best Support Actor award actually won it, you know. I've never heard of him.
Who was it?
I don't know, that's what I mean.
Ah.
Because the problem is, those who are most famous, like Adele, like Ken Loach, decide that they will take up more time than the minnows who they, you know, who are surrounding them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And therefore, they make it a personal ceremonial happening, you know, because, I'm going to tell you what I think. Oh, no, you know, my mate George Martin and everything, you know. And she sounded like... Sounded like that character, didn't she, from Great Britain or Little Britain? Little Britain, yeah.
Little Britain, yeah. Well, yeah, but no but.
Yeah, but no but.
No, you're not thinking of her as one of Britain's greatest exports, though, which she is, and I do quite like her music, but I just wish she would stop this faux act. Like the last time I was having a go at her when she went, oh, yeah, well, you know, when I was doing the dishes the other night, and because I'd had some Chinese, and you go, come on, just come off it.
Yeah.
Just stop all that rubbish.
Yeah, my mate Beyonce, she won this award, you know. I think the last figures I saw, she earned 67 million quid last year, which is great. I love successful people.
She signed a new deal for 90 million.
That's right, yeah. I love successful people. And
Ken Loach, by the way, has done a couple of episodes of Z-Cars. So you should have heard of him.
Oh, well, okay, you know.
Doesn't mean you should sing the
song. But anyway, look, I think Adele's a great singer. I think she's a great businesswoman. I think she's very successful. But, you know, they do abuse their position by saying, well, I got a stage.
Yeah, but the thing is...
I'm going to tell you what my take on it is, which just happens to be the same take as the whole of the showbiz industry, because we all, you know, like to say, we're very rich, so we got to look after them who aren't.
And did you see old Stephen Fry kissing Meryl Streep, right? And, you know, both of them practically in tears. Yeah. He gets back up on the stage and says, you know, my left cheek is now terribly jealous of my right cheek. Just because she only kissed him on one cheek. I mean, please, do me a favour.
And I tell you what, that all comes in a week when there's a row about David Davis, the MP, allegedly trying to kiss Diane Abbott, who allegedly...
Well, I don't think he was trying to kiss her.
Told him
I don't think you got that right.
Get lost, but in a rather ruder fashion.
No, I don't think you've got that right, have you? Yeah. I don't think he wanted to kiss her. I think that was the point.
I'm saying alleging to attempt to kiss her. That's what I'm saying. And she was,
I thought the point of his later response was to suggest that he wouldn't have wanted to kiss her.
Well, I don't think it was that. I think it was when he was...
Are you sure you haven't got that wrong?
No, I haven't got it wrong. I've got it absolutely right. The sequence of events is he did go over to try and be friendly and say, oh, come on, you know, we won the vote. It was the vote over the Brexit bill, wasn't it? You know. And she recoiled, and then in retaliation, of course, when all the tweets got out, he said, "Are you mad? You know, everything I'm blind and all that." So it's just a farrago of political small talk. Yeah,
that's a good word.
Yeah,
You're reading the Sunday Times again.
No, political small talk.
Anyway, I'm far more interested in this picture of you carrying 2 boxes of pizza on your head.
Well,
what on earth are you doing? Well, it looks a bit murky.
Where do we draw the line here? So somebody takes a picture of me walking home one evening over the weekend. Okay. Yeah. And they send it to you.
With your healthy diet fully explained.
They send it to you, so this is a stalker-like picture, right? Because I wasn't aware of that picture ever being taken.
You've been papped, basically.
I think you'll find, if you look at it, quality of the picture, it's very sort of misty and grainy, which means that there wasn't a light on that camera. It was taken, so I wasn't aware of it.
It looks like you would have seen a flash going off.
No, I didn't. I didn't see any flash going. So anyway, the point of the story is, I did go into a Pizza's on the way home.
I don't think you can deny that you're carrying 2 boxes of what looks very like pizza on the top of your head.
Well, I am.
It says Fresh Dough Daily.
Yes, I am.
I can't see a manufacturer's name, but that may be just as well, because they may not wish to be associated with you.
Well, I can tell you it was Domino's Pizza.
Why are you telling me that?
Well, only because, you know...
You don't have to give that name out.
I'm being quite frank and open about it, and the thing is that...
So you don't deny that it's you, then?
Well, no, of course I don't deny it's me, but the thing is, I went into this Domino's on the way home quite late, and I thought I'll order a pizza.
Had you been out somewhere?
I'd been out, yeah. Been talking to people.
Really?
So anyway, what happened?
You didn't have dinner then?
I hadn't had dinner, no. Been a bit of a liquid celebration.
Evening.
Yes,
that's
right.
a funny thing.
So anyway, what happens is, I sort of... Actually, I went off and had another drink while I was waiting for the pizza to be made,
really?
To be honest. Yes, I did, because I don't like sitting around in pizza bars looking useless, you know what I mean?
No, that wouldn't be good. Why not go and sit somewhere else and look useless?
And it was going... And it was going to take 15... I'll ignore that. And it was going to take 15 minutes. So anyway, when I came back... I said, I told them my name. They said, oh, no, we know your name, don't worry. And I said, right, OK. Have you got my pizza? And she gave me 2. And I said...
Why did you get 2 pizzas?
Well, this is what I didn't understand. I said, I only ordered one. She said, no, you didn't. You paid for the buy one, get one free.
Yeah. Bog off.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I said, oh, right, OK. And I thought, well, how am I going to get this home? Because, you see, normally speaking, when I've got
Is it far from your establishment?
I would say it was 8 minutes walk.
8 minutes?
Yeah.
That's quite a long time to have a pizza on your head.
Yeah, well, no, the point is, normally with one, I transport it in a fashion where I hold it to my hip, you see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because the one thing you have to do with pizza is you cannot let it diverge from total horizontal presence. Okay?
Horizontally, yes.
Because if you tip a pizza up, you know what happens? It all crushes itself inside the box.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And also it starts leaking out the
box. It does, absolutely right.
And it's also that fiery hot temperature, which is like sort of, it's like something out of a nuclear rod.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So what you have to do is you have to keep it completely horizontal. Now, there's 2 ways of transporting pizza when you're walking.
Yeah.
And that is you either hold it out in front of you and look stupid, OK?
Well, you don't have to worry about looking stupid.
Well, you do.
I mean, I think it's safe to say you look pretty stupid
carrying it on your head. No, you look like a butler carrying it to, like a tray.
Well, the problem as well with carrying it out front is you can trip. Because if you're not paying attention, you can miss the fact that there's maybe a curb,
a pavement or something,
pavement, especially if you're bladder.
So I normally hold it to my right against my hip in a horizontal fashion. The problem is,
right,
to my right,
Oh yeah.
So my,
that doesn't look right
my arm is on the far side of the box.
That would not.
Well,
look
that looks all right, but you're very wide when you're going down the pavement and getting in other people's ways.
Or you could get one of those bikes with a rack.
Yeah, well, hang on, I didn't have a bike, did I? The point is, I had 2, so it was too heavy to do the side version. It was too heavy to hold it out front, so I thought, I know what I'll do, so I put it on my head, and that kept it absolutely horizontal.
And you managed to do that for 8 minutes?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's right, yeah.
What sort of pizza did you get?
Ham and pineapple on one side, and mushroom on the other.
Just one side, ham and pineapple?
Yes.
So they're both the same, the 2-for-1s?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So you had actually a whole ham and pineapple and a whole mushroom?
I suppose I did, really,
Did you eat it all?
No.
Well, where's the rest of it?
Most of it's in the freezer.
Is it?
Yes. I only had 4 slices.
Oh, how many slices were there?
10 in each pizza.
10 in each, so 20 slices, you had 4.
Yes,
you got 16 slices of pizza in the oven.
I have, yes.
Or in the freezer.
In the freezer, I have, yes, yeah.
Dear God,
definitely.
It's the time, by the way. We are the 2 mics. It is, of course, Valentine's Day. We're talking to Tim Vickery coming up a little bit later on, and we will be talking to Steve Lillywhite as well. See whether he shares our view about the Grammys. He's won quite a few Grammys in his time. Now, here's one for you, which is coming from Julia, and it's a little track of the Beatles, She Loves You. And he says, Happy Valentine's Day, my pork chop, I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, that's very kind, Julie. Thank you very much indeed. I will, of course, send you a response. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah, 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 by the way, is spelled Y-E-H. And she's got Y-E-R, Y-E-R, Y-E-R.
Yeah, but it's a colloquialism, isn't it?
No, it's but listen, I'm not locking it. It's great. Thank you very much indeed, Julia, for thinking of me. I, of course, have not expressed any Valentine's, what's the word I'm looking for? Wishes to anybody yet. Because
what do you mean yet?
Well, the point is, people get jealous. If I started saying, Happy Valentine's to this person or that person or another person.
People get jealous?
Oh, yeah.
What sort of people?
Well, other people who think that
you suggested there's women fighting over you?
Yes, I am, yes. Certainly in terms of my affections on Valentine's Day.
Seems unlikely.
Without a doubt.
How about this one from Kenny? It says, pizza delivery, man of the pizza. Ha ha.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, good man.
Scottish Bull says, I hate to burst your bubble, Porky, but Domino's isn't really pizza. It's garbage and costs an arm and a leg.
Rubbish. I like it. It's best. Well, I like it. I like Pizza Express, by the way. I think that's good stuff. So I like that as well. I like almost all pizza, to be honest.
Really? Well, how about this from Matthew? It says, Papa John's, the Porky Way, pizza delivery. What a plank.
Papa John's I've never tried. There is one near me in a place called Banstead, and I must get in there sometime and give that a try. Definitely,
I had a bit of a 3-for-2 episode over the weekend.
Oh,
what was that? Earlier on today.
Yeah.
Well, I was in town buying a couple of bits and pieces, and I managed to find a parking spot, very unusually. Found a parking spot actually on the street. Normally, you know, you have to go to a car park.
Which town was this in?
This was in one of the towns in Sussex, near where I live, right? And I bought some sausages for the kids for dinner. And I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll go over
sausages.
They wanted some sausages for dinner. Yeah.
Oh, is this healthy food? Sausages?
Sausages are perfectly healthy. Yeah.
You know, just accuse me of eating rubbish pizza. You know,
there's nothing wrong with eating sausages as long as they're decent sausages. Yeah, not that rubbish Richmond stuff that you eat, the skinless ones.
And what do you call a decent sausage?
Well, I go to the butcher and I get the sausages that he makes.
Yeah, with
which are very nice,
gristly.
Not at all. No, no. I go to a butcher who actually hand makes sausages.
What's it called? A thick grizzly skin. Yeah.
No, not a thick grizzly skin. In fact, the particular butcher I go to, was given an award by Gordon Ramsay for his sausages.
Oh, yeah?
So they're rather good. Ooh. Anyway, so I saw a Boots opposite, and I thought, well, while I'm here, because I can never go to the shops that are on the high street. No, I thought I'd get some Nurofen Plus because we'd run out of it at the house, right?
Nurofen? What do you need that for?
Nurofen Plus because there was some sickness in the house over the weekend.
But Nurofen's for headaches, isn't it?
Well, it's for all sorts of things. It's paracetamol. I mean, painkiller. If you're feeling fluey or something, you can take it.
Seems to have a lot of drugs in your house.
I wouldn't say that. Why would you say that because you've got some paracetamol? Well, there would be a lot of drugs in the house.
Well, I don't have any paracetamol in my house.
How many pills do you take in a day?
About 16 at the moment.
Yeah, and the last time you bought yourself a bucket load of drugs, you looked like you'd walked in from the Medellin cartel.
Well, I have to have
you
a
had
lot.
about 5 carrier bags
true.
full.
It's absolutely
true. So for you to suggest to me that I've got a lot of drugs in my house, I think it's slightly off the mark.
Anyway, go on, 3-2.
Anyway, so anyway, I walk into Boots, a very small Boots.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, look, there's some nice 3-for-2 offers on some shampoo and conditioners. I thought, well, I'll buy some of that as well.
Excellent.
Because you can never have too much of shampoo and conditioner.
You can't,
and it was
especially with
nice.
hair like yours.
Well, exactly. I need to do a lot of stuff to my hair, as you can see.
Yeah.
So I go up to the counter, right? And there's quite a nice old lady behind the counter. And I said, are these 3-for-2? Oh, yes, that's right. I said, fine, thank you very much. Could I have one of the boxes of Nurofen Plus, please?
Yes.
And she said, no, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't sell you that.
Right.
And I said, why not? And she said, well, the pharmacist is at lunch.
Right.
And I said, well, what's that got to do with me? I said, I don't really care.
It's over-the-counter
It's an over-the-counter drug.
Yeah.
I mean, Nurofen Plus is behind the counter rather than in front of it. Yeah. But nevertheless, it's not, a prescription drug.
Ridiculous.
I said, well, why can't I buy some? Well, the pharmacist's out for lunch. I said, well, I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life.
What's the pharmacist going to do? Judge whether you're suitable to buy it or not?
Well, they always ask you when you buy it, you know, is this for your own use?
Yes.
To which I always say yes. Are you taking any other medication? No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier to buy crack than it is to buy this stuff.
Yeah, it is, I agree.
So eventually, this woman says, I said, well, when's the pharmacist deign to be getting back from lunch?
Yeah.
Oh, 2:30.
Yeah. What time is it now?
2:15. I said, so you expect me to sit here for 15 minutes waiting for the pharmacist to come back from lunch? I said, why haven't you got somebody to cover for the pharmacist?
Yes.
By this time, there were people sort of gathering behind me.
That's right, yeah.
Thinking that I was being terribly London and very sort of, impatient. And eventually, I said, well, I'm not waiting.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I'm terribly sorry. There's nothing I can do. Those are the rules. I said, well, the most ridiculous rules I've ever heard. Yeah. I said, you keep your shampoo as well.
So you
and I stormed out.
Good man. Well done. I like that, yeah.
Unbelievable.
People would call you petulant.
Only in Britain. I could hear them mumbling behind me, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, petulant, short-tempered. But, of course you were right to say that, who made these ridiculous rules that I can't have the Nurofen because the pharmacist isn't here? That's a nonsense.
I know. It's also, I'll tell you, here's another one you could try. Yeah. Try and buy Lemsip sachets and Lemsip capsules at the same time. They won't sell them to you.
Why?
In case you overdose on Lemsip.
Yeah. And yet, if
you go... ridiculous thing
if you've gone into the off-licence next door, they've sold you a bottle of whiskey, which, of course, could have killed you in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How do you decide to drink it all at the same time?
And take all 32 paracetamols.
Exactly, yeah.
But luckily for me, my life has been saved because the pharmacist was at lunch.
Yeah. Hey, listen, talking about drink, by the way.
Yeah.
Talking about drink, have you seen that the authorities are now clamping down on the amount of bladderation that's going to take place at the Cheltenham Festival?
You won't be at all surprised to know that when I saw that story, I immediately thought of you, because you're only allowed to now buy 4 drinks at a time.
That's right, yeah.
And whenever I see you at Cheltenham, you've usually got at least 4 drinks on the go.
I know, and another absolutely vicious rule they're going to introduce is that the bars have now got to close after the last race.
Oh, is that right?
Whereas at the moment, I mean, it's such a ridiculous...
I mean, why are they pretending that Cheltenham is not a massive booze fest?
It's so ridiculous. At the moment, the bars in the boxes can close half an hour after the last race.
Right.
So that means the last race usually finishes maybe 5:30, 4:45. You can stay till 6:15.
I mean, you and I normally miss the last race if we're there, don't we?
We do. We leave before. Most people leave before the last race, to be honest, because they try and get away before the traffic and all that kind of stuff.
Unless you actually can't move.
Yeah, exactly. So this is complete and utter nonsense, And you can only drink 4. You can only buy 4 drinks at a time. Yeah. Well, that suits me fine because normally I'm only with one other person. person, probably yourself.
Well, to be honest, you don't...
I'd go and get us a couple of glasses each.
To be honest,
fine.
we're not normally buying the drinks, are we?
No, we're not normally.
I mean, there's no point pretending that.
No, people usually bring us drinks, you know, so that's fine. So, it says here, horse racing chiefs are to restrict alcohol at some of the highlights of the sporting calendar in an attempt to curb the antisocial behaviour and drunkenness that has tarnished recent meetings.
Yeah, but have any of these people ever been to Cheltenham? I mean, presumably they know that the drinking starts on the trains, the drinking starts in the bars of Cheltenham before they get up to the racecourse. It
starts in the bars of London railway stations before anybody gets there.
Exactly. Yeah. And probably if you're coming over from Dublin, the drinking starts, the day before. Yeah. I mean, they're hardly going to curb people getting over-bladderated by saying you can only buy 4 drinks at a time.
It says here that this is a response to last year when on the second day of the festival was marred by newspaper photographs of footballers getting drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Wow-wee.
Well, yeah, but they're in a box anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were getting free drink, basically.
Yeah, and women baring their breasts.
Really?
Well, I totally disagree with that. I think that's absolutely lewd behaviour.
Shocking.
Which you shouldn't have to be subjected to. Nevertheless, this will extend to Royal Ascot, Wimbledon and the Grand Prix. Say the organisers, because all these events are ones which attract huge crowds.
Don't they realise that an awful lot of the bladderation takes place in private boxes?
Absolutely.
Where nobody's buying drinks anyway.
Absolutely.
And everybody is just getting as much down their neck as they possibly can.
Yeah. Listen to this.
In fact, those were the footballers wearing the Peaky Blinders hats, weren't they?
I think they were,
I noticed you're wearing that in the pizza picture.
Well, that was to cover my head while I had the pizza boxes on my head, so I didn't burn my head.
Yeah.
It says here, 2 years ago, the Cheltenham course underwent an upgrade costing $50 million, which included a new grandstand named after the Princess Royal. Bars in hospitality boxes will close at the end of racing instead of half an hour afterwards.
Right.
That's rubbish.
I know.
Do you think there's going to be like the drinks police walking up and down the corridors saying, close your bar, close your bar?
All that's going to happen is that it's going to cause more problems, isn't it? Because there'll be bound to be somebody who will get worked up about the fact that you can't get another drink.
Yes, that's right.
And so, it's never done like this before.
Yeah, they're also going to gerrymander information, right, in order to try and push this through. Okay. So, for instance, Cheltenham will also stop making a virtue, that's in inverted commas, in pre-festival publicity of the amount of drink consumed. The 2015 publicity said that 265,000 pints of Guinness, 120,000 bottles of wine.
Have they told anyone at Guinness about this plan?
I don't know. 20,000 bottles of champagne. We're all drunk. But you're absolutely right. I mean,
a Guinness tent is one of the famous and most lovely places to go in the Cheltenham Festival week.
Mike, it's not even a Guinness tent. It's called the Guinness Village.
Well, that's what I mean.
There's about 6 or 8 bars in the Guinness in the Guinness Village, all tented. Because that's how much people like drinking Guinness at Cheltenham.
And there's not a Bollinger tent as well.
Yeah, of course there's a Bollinger tent. There's everything. I mean, it's
Moet and Shandon. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I thought... Did I not see, those big 4x4 Bentleys that were going up and down the racecourse?
That's right.
Have they not got a Moet and Shandon stamp on them?
I think they've got some sort of a stamp on them. But, it is utter nonsense. What you've got to do is, you haven't got to start restricting and curbing the amount of booze available.
Yeah.
You've got to start punishing those who can't act in a civilised and sensible fashion when they take a drink. When was the last time?
They're going to punish everyone for the aptitude of a few idiots.
Exactly. When was the last time somebody in this country was arrested for being drunk and disorderly? I cannot remember it.
Probably about an hour ago.
No, it wasn't. They just don't do it anymore. What they do is they say, oh, look, that person, that girl there, she's had far too much. I tell you what, call an ambulance. Let's help her out. What they should say is, right, get her in the back of the Black Mariah, get her off to Nick. She's spending a night in the cells, or he's spending a night in the cells. Drunkenness should not be tolerated in public places, and anybody who decides that they're going to get bladderated at Cheltenham, stagger onto the track, and then start having physical intercourse with a member of the opposite sex.
What about the same sex?
Or even that, they should be arrested on sight and banned for life from sporting arenas.
Excellent.
That's the way to fight it.
All right, OK, if you say so. It's going to be happening in Aintree and the Derby as well.
That's the way to fight it.
Yeah, all right. Porky's gone mad.
That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Lie down on the couch. What does that mean? You're a nut. You're crazy.
We are the two Mikes. I've got a couple of tweets for you, Porky. Scottish Bull says, T20 in India last... What are you doing?
Sorry.
What have you got here? What on earth are you doing?
Oh, dear. Sorry.
What have you got there?
I've just been brought in, one of the night guys.
Right.
Oh, blimey. Just brought me the Postman Pork post bag.
Well, I hope it's not fragile. What are you dropping it on the floor for?
I couldn't put it all on my desk. It's all fallen off. There's a lot of it.
Well, we're not doing Postman Pork today.
We are.
Why?
We've got to. It's all coming in so rapidly fast.
Well, you want to make it every day now, Postman Pork?
Well, it might have to. Yeah, this is another package here. Letters.
God.
Postcards.
You mind talking into the microphone?
Postcards. Well, because I'm reaching round to try and sort all this out.
All right. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. Sort it out.
What time are we going to... we'll have to do this.
Well, we can't do it this hour. We've got to talk to Steve. Lily White, we've got other things to do. We'll have to do it in the 3 hour.
We'll do it after 3 o'clock.
I'll tell you what, here's a good idea. Why don't we do it, and maybe we'll Periscope that.
Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do that so we can...
Breath.
Hey?
Why are you all out of breath?
Well, because all these packages suddenly brought in. I went to the door, picked them up. They were so heavy, I brought them to the desk, and then they had dropped all over the desk.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right. Well, listen, we'll talk about that later on. I'm going to do some more cricket-related tweets.
Right.
Scottish Bull says, the T20 in India last year drew viewing figures of 750 million people.
There you go.
What a plank you are, Porky.
Yeah.
And here's one from James. He says, Mike Atherton was 23 years old when he was appointed England captain back in 93.
Too young.
Well, he wasn't too young. Mike Atherton was a great captain.
He was a very great captain, I agree.
And John says, Porky's talking drivel about cricket. India has less TVs than Western Europe. Says it all.
Yeah.
Double plank.
Well, Rob here says more nonsense from Porky re cricket. The power plays in cricket are India and Australia. Well, I know that. I mean, of course I do.
Exactly. Well, so I think young Mr. Root will do rather well. I tell you what I do think, though, is that at the age of 26, he's remarkably young looking for 26. He looks about 18.
He's boyish.
He's very boyish.
He's boyish.
But apparently, according to Darren Goff, he's a very mischievous character. So he might bring a bit of fun back, which I think the England cricket team needs. You know, he might be.
I think the last thing they need is fun.
I think they should be having fun. No,
get down to it and start restoring the reputation of English cricket.
No, not at all. Alistair Cook became one of those figures who was kind of weighed down by the seriousness of the job.
Yes.
Because he's kind of a serious guy, you know.
Well, it's quite serious business being England cricket captain.
I think it's much more fun if you're out there enjoying yourself and whacking the ball all over the place and beating people because it's an enjoyable thing to do.
Looks like Dylan Hartley's going to lose the captaincy of the England rugby team, doesn't it, eh?
What, because of his inability to control himself?
Well, you know, the fact that I think he's been pulled off in the last 2 internationals, hasn't he?
Well, they were fortunate in Cardiff at the weekend, I thought. I was watching that game and it looked to me for a long time that Wales were going to do it. They just ran out of steam at the end.
Well, I think you're right. Old Stumpy Dog here says, roses are red, Porky turns blue because a third of his heart will give out on you. Yeah. Well, I can sort of make that up a bit. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Yes,
sort of. Yeah, here's one from Billy from G in Edinburgh. Hi, regards the cricket debate and late 30s cricketers playing for England. Porky's not just floundering, he's positively doing a great impression of Flipper, Jaws, Orca and Billy the Fish. Totally washed up.
I don't think so.
Root has apparently never played in the IPL, according to James.
Sorry?
Jimmy Anderson is the oldest player in the England cricket squad. It's 34.
There you go, 34.
Well, 34 is not 37 or 38.
Well, some of them do play up to that age. I remember Brian Close, for instance.
I've given you the opportunity to name any of them, and you haven't done it.
Well, I haven't named them.
Somebody else, by the way, asked me earlier, how do you make a pizza slice into 10 pieces?
I don't know, but they do, because they have the...
sure, it's not 8?
No.
If you imagine a quarter...
It's 10.
It's 10.
It's definitely 10.
Is it?
I know, because I had to wrap them in cellophane and put them in the freezer afterwards.
Well, you individually wrap them?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's what you do.
Really? So what, will you take one out sort of one a day or something? Or how long will you keep it in there?
No. I eat about 4 at a time.
4 at a time?
Yeah, that's about, that's like a pizza meal, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you've got 16 pieces. I'll keep you going for 4 days then?
Yeah, with a bowl of soup.
A bowl of soup and 4 pieces of pizza?
Yes,
What sort of soup?
Pea and ham.
Pea and ham? Very nice. I like a bit of pea and ham. I'm going to make some of that. I've never made pea and ham soup, but I'm planning on making some.
You are you?
Very soon, yes.
Good, that's very good. Now then, I've got some news for you.
Have you?
You are an advocate of electric cars, okay?
Not especially.
I thought you were.
Well, I don't have a problem with electric cars, and I think the more electric cars we have to choose from, and the cheaper they become, the better.
Right, okay. Can I tell you something? Yeah. You and the millions like you.
Yeah.
Millions
like me.
Yeah, bleeding hearts.
There's no millions like me.
Bleeding heart electric car fans.
I'm not an electric car fan.
If only 10% of all the cars in the country became electric cars, we would have to build 5 new nuclear plants.
What are you talking about?
To power them.
Why?
Because there is not enough electricity in this country at the moment to barely keep the streetlights open. No.
One of your scare stories.
If only 1 quarter if only 1/4 of all the cars on the road at the moment...
You said 1/10 before.
1/10. If only 1/10 of all the cars on the road...
That's quite a big difference.
We'll go for 1/4. If only 1/4 of all the cars on the road at the moment...
Only 1/4 of your heart works.
Hang on.
You might be dead.
Were electric and stopped in all these service stations on the motorway and used electricity to power themselves...
Right.
The country would go into darkness immediately.
Oh, right. So
there is not enough electricity in the country.
Another antediluvian, ridiculous reason for not going forward with technology.
Because we haven't got enough electricity.
Don't build them planes. You weren't meant to fly. You don't build them. They don't crash.
You would need to build, if every car in this country was electrically powered, i.e. you plugged them into a little post at the roadside,
what about
you would have to build 20 new nuclear... plants to produce electricity. How about that?
Well, let me ask you
when
this.
are we going to build those?
Let me ask you this. How much electricity would be saved by nobody having to use an electronically powered hand pump to put gas and petrol and diesel and everything else into the car?
Yeah. How much what?
How much electricity would you save?
None at all.
Why?
Because it's so minimal. So minimal, a petrol pump.
How much electricity do you think a petrol pump uses?
Very little indeed.
Well, give me a figure.
As little as a hairdryer.
As little as a hairdryer.
That's right,
But how many times do you think that is going on all times, all around the country?
No. Listen to this. This is fact.
No, I'm giving you a counter argument.
No, you're just speculating. Let me give you the fact.
Who's come up with this fact?
My power journals.
Your power journals?
Yeah.
Can you give me a name, please?
Right, hang on. Switching all cars to ultra-low emissions may place a massive strain on the power... Yeah, hang on.
Say may.
On the power network because of the additional resources needed to recharge batteries, research suggests.
And who's done the research?
Figures produced by Transport for London suggest that switching to an all-electric vehicle fleet in the capital would demand at least 5 times the amount of power currently needed to run the entire London Underground network.
Really?
Which, by the way, is the biggest user of electricity in this country.
London Underground?
Yes, London Underground,
How do you know that?
Because I know this. I've seen the facts and the figures.
I haven't seen that. I'm not sure I believe it.
Okay.
Well, Transport for London, right, have a vested interest in getting people off the roads altogether.
Yep.
So what they would like you to do is get on a bike and get on the train. What they don't want you to do is get into a car of any kind, whether it's electric, whether it's run by fossil fuels, or whether it's being driven by a genie.
Right, okay.
So basically, they are going to come up with all sorts of research which is going to point you in that direction.
Okay, I've got more evidence here, more definitive evidence. At the maximum level of uptake in the city, green cars would demand between 7 and 8 gigawatts per year.
How much is that?
7 and 8 gigawatt hours per year, okay?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, it means
to the layman. Explain it, please.
Right, I will. Experts say this is the equivalent to the output of more than 2 nuclear power stations.
That's rubbish.
Similar to that.
Absolute rubbish.
Hang on. Similar to that being built at Hinkley Point in Somerset. Extrapolated nationally, it would require the equivalent of 20 new nuclear power stations nationwide.
Absolute
okay?
rubbish.
Have you got that?
That's complete rubbish.
Have you got that? That's
it's
research.
Scaremongering nonsense.
That is research from those who know.
From those who don't want you to have a car. That's who it's research from.
I'm telling you.
Because what they've seen, right, what they have seen is that their kind of relentless campaign, which you have been against, by the way, for many a year, and you've moaned and groaned about Transport for London until it now suits you to quote some of their figures, right? They have relentlessly campaigned to penalise car drivers in this country and to penalise car drivers in this city particularly. They put the congestion charge up to what now is £11.50 a day.
Yes.
Hasn't stopped the congestion. They've built the roads in such a way that now superhighways are all over the place.
Yep.
They had by the way, they had a demonstration at the weekend, in which, despite the fact that more than £2 billion and up has been spent on cycling in the capital. The guy who runs the, get more cycling campaigns going, so he called it chicken feed. He said that, the amount of money so far that's been spent has been way, way below what should be spent. £2 billion.
Unbelievable.
Right? So this organisation has noticed that, okay, we might be winning the war on the ecology. I saw a sign for the first time driving into the XL the other day, which said, turn off your engine when stationary.
Yes.
You know, we've got a high pollution level in London today, right?
Right.
So they've now worked out that people actually are quite liking the idea of electric cars.
Yes.
And they will get electric cars as soon as they become affordable. However, that will not help transport for London because they don't want the cars in the city. So they're now going to tell you, oh, you better be careful if you get an electric car. You won't be able to put the kettle on and make any tea. Yeah. It's the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard.
No, you've got to build 20 nuclear power stations if you want all the cars in this country turn electric. And by the way, we've got to start building new roads because another piece of my research shows that traffic has reached record levels. Motoring experts warning of Britain's clogged roads. 320.5 billion vehicle miles travelled in 2016, 2% up on the pre-recession peak of 2007. Van traffic has the biggest growth. That's because of all the internet
I've told
shopping
you about that before,
these days. RAC spokesman Nick Lies, an expert, by the way, said drivers forking out for motoring taxes would find the congestion incredibly frustrating, OK?
Who would?
All drivers.
Yeah, I'm not sure they will. But the point is, there is a campaign against drivers in this country, right? Yeah. And you seem to now be siding with it by spreading these ridiculous scare stories that we're not going to be able to have any electric cars because we haven't got the power.
Well, we haven't. There's not enough power in this country to run
like I said,
electric cars.
You can answer the
Why didn't some idiot check it out before he started advocating electric cars?
For example,
they're useless, these
all
people.
of the petrol stations use an awful lot of electricity throughout the course of the day, don't you think? They've got coffee machines. They've got places for tills.
Well, the cars will still use the coffee machines. They're driving electric cars.
Pumps. They've got electric pumps.
Electric pumps use nothing.
You don't know that, though, do you?
I've been working in petrol stations since I was 15, man. I can tell you all about it. Electric pumps, what?
You still do,
No. But I was at that age. You know, I got a very, very early inkling as to the efficiency and the powerage of service stations.
Once again, I'm afraid your arguments are completely and utterly baseless.
Postman pork, I eat my chips with just a fork, 'cause then I can still talk.
Once again, we're at the very, very edge of the technological revolution.
We
right?
are.
We're having an emergency version of this.
We are.
Because we've had
so much
an influx of packaging.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Which we're going to have to open.
I mean, it's Valentine's Day, so I don't know how much of it relates to that or whatever, but I mean, a van arrived this morning, that's yesterday morning, in East Turn, brought all this stuff in. I've just brought a selection of it in. We better get going because there's so much to get to.
Yeah, let's get to it.
First of all...
So what are you going to open first?
Well, I'm going to, first of all, read out a very nice car, Armour Observatory. Armour. And
Northern Ireland.
From Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And it says, well, I can't read it actually because it's very scrawny writing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's from somebody called, do you know, I can't even read that anyway. But I want to say thank you very much indeed.
So, you got a postcard that you can't read?
It just says Raging Bull Beryl Slick 19 back, or I can't honestly. But anyway, it's sent to... Excuse me, sent to Porky Parry here at... so that's great. Let's get into the packages.
Pass it over to me, because then I might be able to add something to it.
You won't be able to add to it, honestly.
You never know.
No, you won't, honestly. Don't worry about it.
Just pass it to me.
Well, I doubt you won't.
And I may pick it up later.
Yeah, but anyway, let's get into the first package here, OK? Because I don't know what's in it, honestly. I really don't. Oh, look at this. It's some sort of DVD, yeah? Or it could be a CD or whatever. Let's have a look here. Right, here we go. It is, in fact... the All Tones. The All Tones?
The All Tones.
Who are the All Tones? Anybody know?
I don't know who the All Tones are.
Right, OK, well, here we go. I've got two CDs, I suppose they are, aren't they? Yeah, they're definitely CDs. Thank you very much indeed.
Is that a band, the All Tones?
It says the All Tones, available here. 14-track LP, Fear Without Progression, by the All Tones, recorded at Abbey Road Studios.
All right.
So that's pretty good, isn't it, eh?
Very good.
Anybody who gets into Abbey Road Studios. Here's a note of where it comes from. Right, this comes from Nick Heighton, and he comes from Purley. And he says, Dear Porky... and the other Mike.
Yeah.
Here's a copy of my LP recorded at Abbey Road in one day.
Oh, so it's this guy's record.
It'd be an honour to come on the show and tell you about it. Hope you enjoy. Best regards, Nick. Nick, thank you very much indeed.
Well, maybe we should play a little bit of it later.
Maybe we will. Let's get into the next package here because there's so many packages to get going.
We've got a big box here, by the way.
Yeah, we've got a big box.
We'll be able to see. We are live on Facebook as well, by the way.
You can see me now trying to break into these parcels.
Look at it on the two mics if you wish.
Bit of a skill alone getting into these. They're wrapped so well.
Really?
No, I don't need scissors, mate. No. I know what I'm doing. You know.
All right.
I can sort this out. Here we go. Oh, this is a book. Right, OK. It's always nice for you to send me these artefacts. Thank you very much indeed. People think I just, reach out to you for presents and things, but of course I don't. Bit of packaging.
That has been going around, actually.
Yeah, OK. This is D-Day as they saw it, forward by Field Marshal Lord Carver. Bit of a tatty old note here written on the back of a form card or something. So not sure that this is very classy, actually, but let me have a look and see what it says here.
It doesn't look a very new book.
It says, Porky, I've heard you in the past describing your dad's D-Day Nelson-like heroics. You may find this book interesting. John in Lancashire, I think that says. John Lanks. P.S. About a week ago, you were both talking about emus, and it says...
Emus?
Yeah, see YouTube, because Frankie Dettori was riding an emu at the races. Really?
What?
Didn't know about that.
Okay.
But anyway, look, thank you very much indeed. That's excellent. I always like to get presents. That book called D-Day.
Yeah.
Let's open the big one, shall we?
Let's open the big one,
aside.
You sure you don't need scissors for that?
No, I don't need scissors now.
Because, I mean, it looks like it's pretty well sealed up.
No, I know what I'm doing.
You can open it with a pen.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Or a paper knife, maybe.
Yeah. No. Got it open. Oh, yeah, there's a letter on the top anyway. So.
Are you sure that's not a bill of lading?
Hang on. Let's get this off. Yeah.
Well, maybe you should move your microphone up so that we can see
I can't do more than one thing at once, you know.
Can't you?
Right, here we go.
I always thought you were able to.
Been given some scissors now. Thank you very much indeed. Right, Postman Pork.
Yeah.
Talk Sport, 18 Hatfield, London, SE180J. That's the right address. Dear Porky and Mr. Graham, I've been listening to your show now for roughly 7 months, having been introduced to it by my brother, who's been a regular listener for many years. I have to say, it's by far the best show on any radio station I've come across, right? And it goes on to say, range of conversations is great, incredible, sport, politics, mass Rogerisation and bladderisation in moderation, which I have to say, Porky, you didn't take much notice of at the Liverpool show, as you seemed completely bladderated after the show. That's not true. I think Mr. Graham was the one who stayed up until the early hours of the morning. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I was actually not reasonably complimentous.
Anyway, for you, Mr. Parry, some Beatles coasters for your penthouse, which you can show off to your executive and high-class guests when you serve them some letterbox wine. Also, for you, Mr. Graham, so you'll get a present as well, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
A band I recommended on Twitter a few weeks back. Here's their debut album, which I believe you may like the sound of. And this comes...
Is this what's come in this big brown
It's all in this big box. About to open it.
Well, why would a few sort of beer mats and one CD take up all that room?
A lot of good padding and all that kind of stuff, right? So we'll open as I'm reading here. Keep up the great work, guys. All the best, Danny. And he actually signs it as Danny K.
Oh, yeah.
But I shouldn't imagine he's related to the famous Danny K.
Or Danny Kelly. It's not Danny Kelly, is it?
Wasn't Danny K the...
Danny K was a dancer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a comedian, wasn't he?
No, well, a comedian and a dancer,
right?
I suppose.
Okay, we'll keep talking as we're opening, because I open very rapidly. Here we go.
It's all going out on Periscope, Twitter and Facebook, by the way, if anybody's looking for it. At the two mics.
Now, this is full of all this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Which I'm going to leave in the bag, because it gets very messy.
What a ridiculously big box.
Yeah, well, I see what's here. Hang on.
I thought there might be some booze in it.
No, there's no booze in it, I'm afraid.
For heaven's sake.
Looks like it's come via Amazon.
Does it?
Yeah. Here we go.
I must have had the work experience kit back in this one.
Here we go. It's actually an old-style
it's
LP.
vinyl. Okay.
Wolf Mother. Have you heard of this?
Mother? No, I haven't.
You heard of Wolf Mother?
Well, this is his band, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. No, it just says Danny.
I thought you just said that he had recorded it.
No, that's the other one. That was Paul Jones or whatever. All Jones.
Paul Jones.
So here, this is for you.
Okay.
That's, you should say thank you to Danny for that.
Thank you, Danny. Wolf Mother.
I've got some coasters. Where's my coasters? There aren't any coasters.
Interscope.
Why aren't there any coasters?
I don't know. They're probably in there.
No, they're not.
Well, they can't be inside the album because this is all completely and utterly sealed, as you can see.
Yeah.
Why don't you tip it out?
Well, no, because there's nothing in there.
Really? Do you think he's caught you out?
I think he has.
It
says.
Look how upset you are.
Some Beatles coasters for your pet. Well, where are they, Danny? Hey, they're not in there.
Don't start giving him abuse.
No, they're not in here.
Tip it out.
There's no point tipping it out. They're not in here.
Really?
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
I found something at the bottom.
It.
Here we go. Oh, brillianto. There are coasters
so now you're
here.
happy.
Yeah. Throw that away.
Yeah, this is like the Richie Rich at Christmas morning, isn't it?
Yeah, this is great. And actually, it's a metal tin with a picture of the Beatles on the front.
The tin is actually rather nice, isn't it?
Tin's rather nice.
You're going to hold it up for the camera to see it?
I am going to right now. There we go. How about that? And then I take the sellotape off and I open the tin eventually because it's a bit difficult, you know. Got to take the sellotape off on the other side as well because obviously there's a pressure point here. That's it. Yeah. Right. Now we'll open the tin. Oh, look. This is fantastic. The coasters are like parlophone records of the Beatles' greatest hits.
Oh, you'll like that.
Oh, this is fantastic. Love Me Do.
Yeah.
Please Please Me.
Yeah.
Strawberry Fields Forever.
Yeah.
Hey Jude.
Yes.
Abbey Road, Side 2. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I can't thank you enough. That is a terrific present. I really, really love that.
How about this from Brunton?
Thank you ever so much.
Postman Pork has turned into Christmas every week for Porky.
Well, there you go.
This slot of the show has turned into a freeloading session.
Well, I'm not a freeloader, as you know, so now let's open this one here.
I think we should give it away to charity.
This is, well, I think we should think about that. Just very quickly, Postman Pork, the Two Mikes Talk Sport. So perhaps if I get this out, there's a letter here as well. Look. Right, here we go.
Another letter.
It's
a time, by the way.
Limited edition T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very nice T-shirt. Something to do with Delaney Nootka trading. Right. And
Delaney Trading.
Yeah. Oh, here, there's a letter in here. Now, this is from Matt Guns, OK?
Yeah.
Matt, thank you very much indeed. And there's something else in this bag here. I'm not sure what this is. I'll open this here. It says, Dear Postman Pork, I've been a fan of yours since 2003 and I'm pleased that you're still reaching out to your flock. My son Finley also had major heart surgery, so it gives me hope that he can thrive and be successful after seeing your great progress. I discovered the Two Mikes podcast when I was painting at home last spring and I listen every day as I drive 500 miles a week. I'm enclosed a copy of your best-selling book, Rudy Tunes, which set me back 1p. I was hoping you could sign and send it back to me. I haven't included a stamp after spending all my money on the book.
Yeah.
I hope Mr. Graham isn't too embarrassed to sign the book also. I've also included a taboo tee.
Taboo tee?
I think it means T-shirt. I guess the size from your photos, it is taboo because I played the guys at work the clip of Porky Vision, which although I think they enjoyed it, they seemed confused. Anyway, I wish you both all the very best. Please keep up the excellent work. Matt Guns. Okay, Matt? Well, here's the T-shirt. Is the T-shirt that Matt sent us.
Is it from the show Taboo? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's from the show Taboo. I think, well, James Delaney is the hero of Taboo, isn't he?
Yes. Well, is that his company?
Well, no, new to trading, it is absolutely in the show. So that's a very valued present indeed. Thank you very much indeed.
You can wear it with the Peaky Blinders hat. And
I can wear it with the Peaky Blinders hat.
You enjoyed Tom Hardy's fan club while you're at it.
I've got the.
We're out of time now.
I've got my book, and I will obviously sign that. Mr. Graham will as well. And we'll send it back to you. And I want to thank everybody. I'm afraid that's all we've had time to do. There are literally
I'm not signing your book, by the way.
Another couple of dozen letters. Parcels out there. Keep sending them in, please, and we will keep trying to share them with you.
Yes.
On a great basis. I'm very grateful to all of you.
He's very happy. He's got some coasters, a free T-shirt, a couple of books, and some CDs.
You truly are my flock.
Becky says this, please watch out for my parcel. I'm sending Mike Parry 3 bottles of mouthwash so I can watch him open them up live.
Yes, indeed.
Of course, your 1 minute moan on Saturday on the warm-up was the fact that you couldn't open the mouthwash.
Well, somebody then did a little video of opening a bottle of mouthwash, right?
Yes.
And they
which looked very straightforward, I have to say.
Except, did you see the note they sent afterwards? Sorry, Porky, I actually tampered with the bottle and cut the top of it before I took the seal off.
Somebody else said that had been done.
No, well, it had been. You could see from the top it had already been broken.
It wasn't said by the guy that did it.
Listen, I've got eyesight, and I can tell you it was already broken.
You've got eyesight?
Yeah.
Well, I think you have.
I'll tell you what.
Vicky says this, I detest Postman Pork.
Yeah.
It's just a ploy for the plank to get free stuff. It's outrageous and unethical.
Well, I've just seen that. I thought Vicky was a fan of ours. I thought she was a supporter of mine.
She's not a supporter of yours, obviously.
I mean, for goodness gracious, you don't think that I have deliberately started Postman Pork just so people send me free gifts, do you, Vicky? What sort of a person do you think I am?
It's beginning to look like that.
What?
Tom says, looking forward to Porky announcing which charity he's going to donate his gifts to.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know, we'll think about it. Jason,
well, we should definitely auction that watch that we got.
Definitely, I agree.
We can't do it on the radio. We may have to do that on Twitter or something.
Well, we'll see.
What have you done? Have you already sold it?
What do you mean?
The watch.
No, I haven't sold the watch. No, okay. Definitely not.
Right.
Let me see. It says here, the Munchkins, drink, drugs, prostitution, orgy. Sounds like quite a night in for the two Mike. Shocking behaviour. Quite right.
No, it is absolutely shocking behaviour.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Now, we've got Heroes and Villains coming up in a little while, so I don't know whether you've got any selected, but hopefully you have.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Simon Laguna in Walthamstow says, has Porky yet started to declare all of his presents to the taxman?
Of course I do. Everything goes through my accountant. Believe me, I pay my taxes to the penny and more.
Nico Spurs says, I absolutely love that sort of colour-changing wall you have behind you. I wonder whether it turns red when Porky starts yelling. Well, it could be like one of those mood rings, couldn't it? Have you ever seen those mood rings that change colour depending on what mood you're in?
Yes, that's right. Yes, I've seen those. Seen those. I know exactly what you're talking about.
My kids got some the other day inside, I think it was inside some kind of party gift or something like that.
Yes, is that right?
They went to a party and they got a mood ring. So you can put them on and they'll tell you whether you're anxious or whether you're nervous or whether you're happy, whether you're sad.
I understand that.
Quite accurate.
Now, Jason,
I'll bring one in.
I have to say his comment is not the most original we've ever heard on this show. Great thing about doing it on Facebook or Periscope, Porky, is it shows you definitely have a face for radio.
Yes, I think there's no doubt about that.
A few times. Right, it says here from David, he says, I can't wait till I get overweight and popular like you two. Well, at least I'm halfway there. Well, you know...
What does he mean by that?
I have no idea. It says here, another one from Paul. He says, did you know Surrey was the top Rogerisation centre in the UK?
Really?
Sends me some sort of...
Says who?
Well, actually, this is nothing to boast about. It sends me a cutting from some local newspaper or something.
Oh, yeah.
It says, dogging in Surrey.
Some local newspaper?
Yeah. It says, dogging in Surrey, number of known public sex sites falls by more than half. Oh, so it's getting less popular.
So it's going down?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's not bad, is it?
Well, that's right.
Now, I've got a story for you that I thought you might have introduced to me.
Yes.
But it was posted on Facebook a little bit earlier on today.
Oh, yes.
By one of our followers. Did you know that iron ore has topped $90 a tonne for the first time in 2 years?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Why is that, then?
Well, because China have started building again, basically. You know, they had a bit of a sort of blip there in the economy, a mini recession, but now they've decided to get on with building all the power stations, the bridges.
No, they haven't.
What?
No, it's all down to futures trading, which is being done.
That's right.
In China. So actually what they're doing is they're gambling that the demand for iron ore is going to go up.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you said they've started building it.
Yeah, they have.
No, they haven't.
Let me tell you, before you can build a bridge... Before you can build a bridge, you have to go and find an engineer and an architect to design it.
Yes.
That's the planning stage. And once the planning stage takes off, that's when the guys in the futures market come in and start buying the iron ore, believe me.
But don't forget that buildings collapse in London. Do you remember when half the buildings that were being built were suspended from building for about 6 months because nobody was sure? You don't remember that?
No.
The cheese grater was one of the buildings, for example, and so was the walkie-talkie at one point, where they just abandoned it for about 6 months because the prices of property were plummeting.
How long ago was this?
This was probably, 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, well, you see.
And the prices were plummeting to such an extent that they didn't want to continue with the investment of hiring all these people to build the building because they thought at the end of it, there wouldn't be anybody to actually occupy it.
They'd have to knock it down again, maybe, because it wasn't built properly.
So, I mean, that can happen as well.
Yeah, I do love these Beatles coasters. I think they're brilliant. I really do.
Well, you're not going to give those away then?
No.
You're going to keep those?
Yeah, I think so.
You have no shame at all, do you? I think some of these people are right that this is just turning into some kind of, laudatory session for you.
Oh, don't.
Because you don't. I mean, there's nothing worse than somebody like you who wants to give sort of, validation all the time from people out there who are sending you gifts and presents.
Don't be ridiculous.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
See this one here, Parlophone, Love Me Do, right? Lennon McCartney, The Beatles, and it says recording first published 1962. Parlophone stereo, Please Please Me, with I Saw Her Standing There.
I Saw Her Standing There?
Yeah, when I saw her
great song,
standing there.
Yeah, one of the great Beatles songs. Yeah, don't sing it. If you're going to start singing, then I'm going to have to cancel Postman Paul.
And it's also
not an excuse to
on
sing.
This one is Ask Me Why.
Why are you singing?
Because I'm looking through these coasters.
Yeah, but
brilliant.
I don't want you to sing, though.
Right, here we go. Parlophone, 45 RPM, Northern Songs, 1967, Strawberry Fields Forever, Lennon, McCartney, The Beatles.
Well, you're just going to read off them now.
Well, the thing is that we all know John Lennon wrote Strawberry Fields, but they always came out...
all of their songs said Lennon McCartney, didn't they? That was part of their deal.
Well, here, this is another contrast to it. Of course, we all know that Paul McCartney wrote Hey Jude, but this says, Northern Songs Limited, 1968, produced by George Martin, EMI recording, 45 RPM, Hey Jude, The Beatles, Lennon McCartney.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, because every song says Lennon McCartney.
It does,
It's not that amazing.
Yeah.
Apart from, of course, maybe it's amazed. Maybe I'm amazed, which doesn't say Lennon McCartney.
What does it say?
Because it says McCartney.
Oh, does it?
Because it's a solo song. Well, you should know that.
Well,
you're supposed to be the expert.
That song was due to go out on Paul McCartney's first solo album called McCartney.
Yeah.
And
but it's not a Lennon McCartney song, is it?
Eh?
It's not a Lennon McCartney
song. No,
it's
it's not, no. But they were a track short on...
so what are you going to do with these coasters, then?
Well, I mean, I want to share the generosity of our listeners and our viewers, as it is, on...
we now have viewers as well, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
On
Periscope.
Periscope.
Yeah.
I want to share the generosity of our listeners and viewers, so we'll make arrangements to make sure that the...
But are you going to replace the old coasters?
The wealth is shared about.
Yeah.
We will, definitely.
Well, what I'm saying is, are you going to replace the coasters that you currently use?
The coasters I currently use are actually pretty good as well.
What are they?
They're made of black slate.
Black slate?
Yes.
What, from Wales?
Yes, it is actually.
Really?
Brecon Beacon slate.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And why do you have coasters?
To put my drinks on or my hot coffee so as not to stain my tables.
Uh-huh. Are they glass or wood?
The black slate ones are made of slate.
No, I mean the tables.
Oh, the tables are made of glass and wood.
Glass and wood?
Yes.
Well, which is it?
Well, I've got some glass tables and I've got some wooden tables.
Okay.
Okay?
How many?
I've got 1, 2, 3... I've got 4 glass tables.
Right.
And
What, just in one place?
Yes. Yes. And
4 glass tables?
Yes.
What, 4 coffee tables?
No, I've got a glass table, which is a dining table.
Okay.
And then I've got a coffee table. I've got 2 coffee tables. And I've got a side table.
Oh, right, okay. So is it like there's more than one settee then, presumably? More than one sofa?
Yes, there's 2 at right angles to each other with a table in between and a coffee table in front. Yes,
okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
All right.
And in my other abode...
Have they got anything written on them, these coasters?
No, they're glass ones, actually.
Glass coasters?
Yeah, glass.
I thought you said they were slate.
Well, they're slate in my other abode.
What, in Portsmouth?
No, in the Stockbroker Belt, they're slate.
What?
They're slate in Stockbroker Belt.
Right. Yeah. Where are the glass ones then?
They're on the coast.
I see.
Coasters.
Coasters on the coast.
Yes,
very good.
Right, yeah.
Crazy, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living as hoes. Yeah, but maybe it's not too late to learn how to love.
We are the Two Mics. The Porky Quiz is only about 10 minutes away, so stay tuned. It's going to be broadcast on Facebook Live, where you can then watch it forever and ever and ever if you wish to. Last week's was very popular. I think about 17,000 people looked at it in the end.
Yeah.
Do you know I've been invited to a fashion show a bit later on?
Where?
In central London.
Sorry, on today, on Friday?
Yeah, Friday, yeah.
And where is it?
It's in Soho, actually.
And is there free booze?
Well, I don't know about free booze, but it's a sort of
Scottish-related
Scottish-related thing.
Scottish,
it's a friend of mine from Edinburgh who I used to work with up at the radio station.
Who's
she's
that
now
then?
a designer.
Oh, I see.
And she's invited me along.
Is there a tartan aspect to this fashion
It's all cashmere,
collection?
Scottish cashmere, apparently.
Scottish cashmere.
Which sounds very exciting. And apparently it's a mixture of Scottish cashmere, a load of models and some whiskey.
Well, that sounds good.
It does, doesn't it?
And what's the building it's in?
It's in the Groucho Club, I think.
Groucho Club?
Yeah.
Oh, that's for media tarts, really, isn't it?
It's very much the chattering classes sort of place. Did you ever belong to it?
No.
Have you ever been in there?
Yes.
When did you go there?
I saw there, you know, the guy who drank himself to death and slowly had this... No, he had...
Well, that's a very big area.
Well, it is a big area, but he had one leg taken off, then I think he had the other leg taken off because he used to smoke about 80 fags a day as well. You know, I
can't think who that is.
Yeah, Jeffrey Bernard is unwell.
Oh, you mean Keith Waterhouse?
No, Jeffrey Bernard.
Oh, actually, Jeffrey Bernard.
Yeah, Keith Waterhouse wrote the play Jeffrey Bernard is Unwell about Jeffrey Bernard, who was such an alcoholic that his body parts just collapsed one by one.
Just gave up, yeah.
But he used to write a column in Spectator.
He did.
And he used to tell about the excess of his alcoholism. I mean, he hadn't cleaned his flat for about, 11 years.
Yeah.
Because in drink, he was always incapable of even get off his couch, you know. But friends used to come round and literally carry him around, because he lived in Soho.
Yeah.
Carry him round the corner to the Coach and Horses.
The French House or the Coach and Horses?
French House, Coach and Horses, over the pubs in Soho, and just prop him up in the corner, and he'd just drink all day. But They sent him home with a bottle of vodka once, and he was sitting in front of his telly in this pit of and realised that he couldn't...
Sort of studio apartment in Soho.
Studio apartment in Soho. But so weak, so debilitated by the effects of alcohol in his body, he wasn't able to get his fingers of his hand into a gripping motion to take the top off a bottle of vodka.
Oh, really?
So he had to bang with his stick for hours and hours on the floor, until eventually somebody came up to see what was going on to get them to take the top of the bottle of vodka.
Just break it.
Well, he hasn't got the strength in his arms to do anything, to break it or open it. And
what a terrible way to end your life.
And anyway, so I went in the Groucho, is it the Groucho? Yeah, the Groucho one day. And coming towards me was Jeffrey Bernard in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
With one leg completely gone, and I think only half of the other one left. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was being pushed by a mate of his who was an actor,
right?
Who played a private detective, very famous. He had a very lived-in face and a gravelly voice like that. I'm just a private detective trying to make a living.
Private detective on BBC Here or something.
On BBC Here. I'm trying to think what his name was now. He was quite famous at the time. He was like this private detective who, was scraping a living and all this kind of stuff.
You're not thinking of Shoestring, I suppose?
No, not Shoestring, actually. Much older guy than that. But anyway, the point of the story is, as I stopped and said, hello, Jeffrey, can I get you a drink? Because that's the only way he lived. Yeah. He didn't have any income. He wrote this column in Spectator because somebody rang him up once a week and he expressed a few thoughts when he was, 1 second, sober. So he didn't have any money, so he'd go there and people would offer to buy him a drink.
Yeah.
And after buying him a drink, and this guy told me to stop patronising him, because I was some big shot, trying to help. I said, no, just have to buy him a drink. Right. What's your problem? Anyway,
so the actor guy had a go at you?
The actor guy had a go at me, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, I learnt later the actor guy drunk himself to death as well.
Really?
After owning a pub in a very nice place in the Midlands, near to where I used to live, called Henley...
Henley Grange?
No, it wasn't Henley-on-Thames. That's the big town.
That's Berkshire, isn't it?
Yeah, it was something like Henley Grange or something like that, But anyway, a lot of people went to the Groucho, ended up in the great bladderation.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as trendy as
bin in the sky.
I don't think it's quite as trendy as it used to be. I think Soho House is now the place to become a member.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
But I was never a member of any of these places. I'm not that keen on joining private clubs.
No.
You've got the sailing club, of course, that you're a member of, right? Or several sailing clubs.
2 sailing clubs.
You're a member of 2.
Yeah.
What are the subs on those places?
Well, I'm an honoured guest. I'm a VIP guest, you see.
So you're not a member then?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm an honorary member.
Well, then you have to pay, don't you?
No, I'm an honorary member.
Honorary member?
Yeah. I mean, do you think the Duke of Edinburgh pays his subs to the Cows Racing Club where he's president?
Well, he's the president of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you now suggesting that you are of the same nature as the Duke of Edinburgh is to this place?
No, not at all. The Commodore is...
Do they put a red carpet out when you turn up?
Eh?
Do they put a red carpet out?
No, of course not. The Commodore is the boss of a sailing club. Yeah, yes. The Commodore, yeah. Right. And he puts his blue blazer on, his white yachting hat, and I go and have a pink gym with him occasionally. Will you be popping in there
this weekend?
Maybe. Could be. It's a bit early in the year, actually, to get things going, but yeah, could be.
Does that affect cows when they have Cows Week? Does it affect all that area where you are?
Listen, when Cows Week is on, the yachting, the yacht club that I'm a member of is like the centre of the world.
Well, I'd quite like to come down there. You should invite me.
Why?
Because I'm a bit of a sailor. I have actually sailed a yacht, unlike you.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I have. I've sailed a yacht around the Caribbean and around the northeast coast of America.
Yeah, but that's only on a free holiday.
Yeah, but I was actually sailing the boat, though.
How many times have I told you about the fact that we're doomed if people keep paving over their gardens?
You told me about 2 days ago.
Yeah, well, guess what? The butterfly population has massively reduced over the last 10 years.
Really?
Since people started doing that. And Tom Brereton, who's the head monitor at the Butterfly Conservation Trust, said that butterflies in towns could be emerging too early in the year to find any food sources in flowers, or could be remaining out after flowers had died. Caterpillars could be tricked by urban warmth into hibernating too late. All this adds to a massive decline in the butterfly population in this country.
Is he saying the butterflies are coming out already too early in the year? Because I've not seen any, to be honest. It was a bit milder this week than it was previously.
Well,
but I've not seen any butterflies yet.
There's a Centre for Ecology and Hydrology and Butterfly Conservation at Kent University, right?
Yeah.
And they have 3,500 volunteers. And they have found that butterflies in urban areas emerged on average 2 days earlier than their rural counterparts. The authors said this was probably, the authors...
2 days earlier?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any difference.
Probably because of the urban heat island effect. Towns and cities are slightly warmer than surrounding countryside because of human activity. Yeah. And the solar radiation absorbed by concrete and asphalt.
Yes.
But...
Well, it's not very surprising, though, is it? I mean, why do these people actually exist in academia to come out with the bleeding obvious?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that cities are warmer than the rural areas because you will drive into them and the temperature immediately goes up.
Listen, all 28 species of butterfly in this country have declined since 1995. The Essex skipper and the green hairstreak are down by 89%.
Oh, yeah.
The small tortoiseshell by 88%. And the painted lady by 81%. These are huge reductions.
Well, they are, but I don't remember ever seeing any of those type of butterflies. I've never seen a green one.
I do. And the researchers said that gardens were an important refuge for urban butterflies, but much of this habitat had been lost to paving and gravel. The number of front gardens completely paved over tripled from 1.5 million to 4.5 million.
Really?
Between 2005 and 2015.
Well, it's all part of the evolutionary cycle, isn't it? I wouldn't worry too much about it.
You see, I do.
Well, what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it?
Well, all you can do is support conservation. For instance,
you live in one of the largest conurbations in the world, right? Which is the greater expanse of what is now called Greater London.
No, I live in Stockbroke.
You don't live in Stockbroke, sorry. You live in Outer London, really.
Can I tell you that in addition to supporting the Duck Conservancy, which I do,
yes,
my Ducks Trust, I also am a patron of Ecological Gardens.
Ecological Gardens?
In and around Surrey.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where, you go and volunteer for a couple of days a year to help weed the place.
Is that what you do?
Yes.
When was the last time you did that? I've known you for years. I've never known you to go weeding.
No, I do it. And you paint the gates and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Where did you do that last?
Well, I don't. I always get somebody to do it for me. That's my contribution.
But surely the point is that you're part of the community. You're supposed to go and show willing, aren't you?
What I do is...
Who do you pay to do it, then? Not your housekeeper?
No, youngsters, local youngsters, you see.
Local youngsters?
Because they live nearer the place than me, and it's a benefit to them.
I see.
So I pay them to go and do the work of the conservationist...
That's a shocking,
which I'm pledged to do.
Abrogation of responsibility.
But that's at 2 or 3 different places, and it's great because it's a little area of green. You keep it there.
But if you never go there, why would you bother?
Old people like sitting in there for a pit of peace.
Maybe that's how it'll end. Somebody will dedicate a bench to you.
Maybe.
Here's a bench where Mike Parry never sat.
I doubt that very much indeed.
People are suggesting you might be talking about Henley in Arden. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Henley and Arden. Yes, thank you very much indeed. And it's not spelt with an EY at the end. It's Henley, Henly. Henley and Garden. Beautiful, honestly, beautiful Midlands town. And it's near Solihull, which is, wealthy suburb of Birmingham.
Is it? Yeah.
And a lot of very, I would say prosperous people live around there. And it's got all these fantastic ladies' clothes shops and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Michael Elphick.
That's what a couple of people are saying.
That was him. He owned a pub in Henley and Arden.
Richard has said that he owned a White Swan in the High Street.
Ah, there you go. Thank you very much indeed.
His name was Michael Elphick.
That's right, he was. And he was Boone, wasn't he? B-O-O-N?
I don't know who he was.
Yeah, he played a private detective on telly. I think it was Boone.
Somebody else said, was the actor Alfred Burke, star of the TV series Private Eye?
No, he wasn't. I remember him. He was a right seedy individual.
Was he?
Used to eat fish and chips out of greasy paper on a park bench.
What's wrong with that?
In the opening credits.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked very greasy and seedy, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Anyway, the time is now upon us, right?
Okay.
To start filming the Porky Quiz.
Indeed.
And it's on Cuba.
Cuba.
There's that piece of music you were referring to a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Cuba.
Great
piece of music.
Yeah.
That, of course, means that the Facebook live section is upon us.
Right.
You can now watch the show as it unfolds.
Yes.
Because it is Porky Quiz time, of course.
Right.
Now, any second now, I will be in receipt of the questions.
Yeah.
Mr. David Levine has just handed me
the
Porky Quiz
That's just
envelope.
the first set of questions, is
well,
it?
As you can see, because since you make these allegations, which are totally unfounded, I'm going to open the envelope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you that inside there is only one. Yeah. Count them. One set of questions.
Oh,
okay?
right, okay.
Would you like to check the envelope to see if there's another set? No.
Oh, no, you're not that daft. No, there'll be a second set will be underneath the table or something.
Well, would you want to come and have a look?
No, I don't. No.
Because I think it's unfair for you to completely make these unfounded allegations.
I think we should just get on with it.
Which some people complain about.
Your blabbering, that's what the audience tune in for. That's what the audience focus in for. They want to see, the action.
Okay.
So do I.
All right, fine. Well, you can see the action on Facebook Live. I will send you a tweet connecting you to it as well. But
do you think people know how to access that?
They should be. If they're on Facebook, they can get it. Okay. And if they're not on Facebook, they'll be able to get it through Twitter. Okay. Which is what I will do very shortly.
Okay, come on, let's roll.
Now, if you get one right, you will hear this sound. If you get one wrong, you will hear this sound.
Ha venido a crear un problema.
Yeah, they don't sound very different, actually. So.
Well, I mean, they're both Cuban, I suppose you might say. Okay. Both Castro. Question number 1.
Yes.
Who is currently Vice President of Cuba?
Vice President of Cuba?
Yes.
I mean, that's a ridiculous question, I have to say, from the start.
Well, how's it ridiculous?
Well, we all know who the President of Cuba is. It's Raul, okay? Raul Castro, who was Fidel's brother, because Fidel died last year.
That's not the question, though.
Yeah, but I mean, there isn't a Vice President of Cuba. There never has been.
There's never been a Vice President of Cuba.
It's an absolute dictatorship. Raul Castro is both President, Vice President. He is.
I thought you said there wasn't a Vice President.
He is, and he's also the Trade Minister. He's Chancellor and Treasurer. So the answer is there is not a what would you say, Vice
President of Cuba.
There's no Vice President of Cuba.
Incorrect.
No.
His name is Miguel Diaz-Canel.
Oh, yeah? Who says that?
He is the Vice President of Cuba.
Oh, yeah? Listed where?
Listed in any number of articles that you may wish to find.
I say garbage.
OK, question number 2.
Yeah.
Before the arrival of the Spanish in the 15th century, Cuba was inhabited by 3 American Indian tribes.
Yes.
Could you name one of them and get the point?
The 3 American tribes were the Nonia, the Terranina, and the third one was the... Let me just think now. I think they had a Haitian influence because Haiti's around there as well. I think it was the Akanama. They were the 3.
Incorrect.
No.
You could have had the Taino.
Yeah, I said that.
Guanajiatabi, or the Siboney people.
I said the Taino.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did, definitely.
You did not say Taino.
I did.
Would you like to have it played back?
My interpretation, of the...
Well, the Taino were also known by another name.
Yes.
Yeah? Do you want to have another go at that?
I got that.
Well, which was the name you said?
The Nanino.
Nanino, no. It was the Arawak. So that's absolutely wrong. Incorrect.
Ridiculous
question. Number 3.
That's 600 years old, that question.
Well, it's about the history of Cuba, which is what you said you wanted.
Cuba is famous in the modern age for all the things that Cuba's been, like the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Well, wait and see whether there's
a revolution.
Well, wait and see whether there's a question on that.
Che Guevara and all that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you've been studying?
I've been studying everything about Cuba, but the relevance of the tribes who were there before it was even called Cuba. I mean, look, I don't think that question's relevant.
Well,
it wasn't known as Cuba.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It wasn't known as Cuba, and it wasn't known as Cuba until Columbus arrived. So that's not Cuba.
Okay. Question number 3. Which James Bond film starring Halle Berry was filmed in Cuba on the island of Isla de los Órganos?
Isla de los Órganos is the second island of Cuba. And Halle Berry was in the James Bond film in an orange bikini, by the way, and very
famous scene. That.
Very short black hair, and I think it was Pierce Brosnan was James Bond, okay, and they were rolling around the island, and smashed up all those 1950s cars, and it was I believe it was. Definitely. Now, James Bond, you say? James Bond.
I see your eyes moving around.
No. It was the...
Looking down now.
No.
People will see this, You're on camera.
No.
You are actually on camera.
I think it was... The World Is Not Enough.
Incorrect.
No!
Ha venido a crear un problema.
It was Die Another Day.
Die Another Day.
Question number 4.
See, that's not really relevant to Cuba anyway.
Why not?
Go on.
Question number 4. Yeah. When was the 10 Years' War?
The 10 Years' War?
Yes.
10 Years' War?
It lasted for 10 years, if that's any help to you.
What do you mean, when was the 10 Years' War?
When was the 10 Years' War? It's part of Cuban history.
Well, there's not really a 10 Years' War. I mean, the point is...
there was a 10 Years' War.
Well, look, Castro took over in 1959. They weren't fighting 10 years before that because he got locked up in between time. But, I will have to say... now, wait a minute. Batista took over in 1952. I reckon the 10 Years' War took place from 1942 to 1952.
Incorrect.
No!
It was from 1868 to 1878, in fact.
There wasn't a war going on then?
Yeah, it was. It was the 10 Years' War.
Who was fighting who?
I don't know. I've just got the question and the answer.
You don't know? There's a war going on. You don't know who was fighting it?
All I've got here is a question and answer.
A ridiculous question and no answer.
Question number 5.
Invalid question.
Question number 5.
Yeah.
Have a listen to this.
A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side.
Feel free to dance to this. Cuban music.
A little bit of Tina's what I see. A little bit of Sandra in the sun. A little bit of Mary all night long.
Can you tell me who the artist is?
A little bit of you makes me your man.
All right, I can't think with that racket, please. Just cut it out.
Oh, you like it? I like that song.
I reckon it's the same guy who sang Uber La Liva La Loca.
Uber La Liva La Loca.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
I know who you mean. I don't think you've got the title quite right.
Yeah. And I think his first name's Ricky. Okay. Thinking aloud. I'm just thinking aloud.
I need both names. I will need both names.
Ricky...
I have to hurry you.
I think his name is Ricky Martin.
Incorrect.
No.
It's Lou Bega.
Who?
Lou Bega.
Who's Lou Bega?
He's the singer of Mambo No. 5.
Mambo No. 5?
That's that song. It's a very famous Cuban song.
Rubbish. Nobody's ever heard of that before.
Question number 6.
Garbage.
I'm sorry to tell you, you got none out of 5 so far.
Well, it's not surprised, is it, the quality of the questions?
Question number 6.
Yeah.
Who wrote The Double Life of Fidel Castro, My 17 Years as a Personal Bodyguard to El Líder Máximo?
What?
There's a very famous book about Castro.
Oh, yeah, very famous. Yeah, world number 1 bestseller.
It was, actually.
No,
it was written by his personal bodyguard, and it gave a great insight into what Castro's life was like.
Nobody's ever read that book.
They have?
No, they haven't.
More people have read it than read Looney Tunes.
Okay, and you want to know who the personal guard was?
I just want his name.
It was...
Both names. 2 names.
It was... Thinking aloud here, the personal bodyguard to Fidel Castro was... Basil Baruna.
It wasn't Basil Baruna. It's a good name, though. It was Juan Sanchez.
Ha venido a crear un problema.
He had several names.
Yeah,
that was another stupid question.
No, you should be able to get this next one, right? It's a geography question.
Yeah.
How far is it from Havana to Miami?
Havana to Miami?
Yeah. I'll give you 5% either way.
Do you mean how far is it from Cuba to Miami?
No, I mean from Havana to Miami.
Well, Havana is on the south side of Cuba.
Sure.
So, and do you mean as the crow flies?
As the crow flies.
As the crow flies. Yes. As the crow flies.
Not if you were going in a sort of
boat.
Old Chevrolet that was made into a boat.
Or okay. As the crow flies.
Yeah.
It is 97 miles.
Incorrect.
No.
It's
not.
It's 228 miles.
Rubbish.
It's 228 miles.
The narrowest stretch of water is 97 miles.
Yeah, but that's not where Miami is it? I didn't say Florida. I said Miami.
Oh, you idiot.
Well, you idiot.
To the Florida Keys, it's 97 miles.
I didn't say to the Florida Keys.
Well, that's pathetic.
I said to Miami.
Pathetic.
That's 9 out of 7.
Well, I'm not surprised. The quality of the questions is... I'm so glad that we're recording this because people will now see how I get stitched up.
Because normally speaking, it's only recorded for a podcast.
I get stitched up. Right, keep going.
Question number 8. Well, they can see your eyes moving as well.
My eyes aren't moving anywhere
moving
except
all over
in
the place.
despair.
What is the name of the Jack Nicholson character in A Few Good Men charged with running Guantanamo Bay?
That's another stupid question.
What?
That's not about Cuba. That's about a film.
Well, where's Guantanamo Bay?
Well, Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba.
Thank you.
But the film is a film. It's fictitious. That's nothing to do with Cuban history.
It's about Cuba.
It's not.
Well, you're not very good at Cuban history. You haven't got anything right yet.
I know everything about Cuban history. I know about the Bay of Pigs. You haven't asked me about that.
Next question's about the Bay of Pigs.
Right. Well, the answer to this one is... What's the question again?
What's the name of the Jack Nicholson character in A Few Good Men? The guy who says, you need me on that wall.
You can't handle the truth.
That's the guy. What's his name?
Lopez.
No, he's an American.
Problema.
He's an American. It's Colonel Nathan Jessup.
Yeah, rubbish.
Right, question number 9. Who was the director of the CIA during the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961?
Who was the director of the CIA?
Yeah.
CIA. Well, President John F. Kennedy was the president, and Robert Kennedy was Justice Minister.
Was he?
Yeah. And the CIA director was, I believe it could have been, but it probably wasn't, because I'm thinking of the time scale. I think it was...
Yes.
I think it was... George Bush.
No, it was, in fact, a man called Alan Dulles.
Ha venido a creare un problema.
Longest-serving CIA director, funnily enough, which I was surprised you didn't know.
They must have named the airport after him in Washington, D.C.
Maybe they did, actually. They may have a point. It's the same spelling.
Yeah.
Right, finally, now, question number 10. This is on Facebook Live, by the way. If you're not watching it, you should watch it, because Porky is about to possibly break all records and get 0.
Pathetic questions.
How many medals did Cuba win in the 2016 Olympics?
2016?
Yes.
Well, look, hang on. Listen, their greatest Olympic exponent was Teofilio, their boxer.
Who?
Their boxer. He won 3 gold medals in 72, 76 and 80.
Right. Was he in the 2016 Olympics?
So why haven't you asked me about him?
Well, was he in the 2016 Olympics?
Why didn't you ask me about him?
Well, it's not written down here.
Why didn't you ask me about Juan Torina, who won 2 Olympic golds in 76 in Montreal, 400 and 800 metres.
Yeah.
So I know about the heavyweight boxing champions. I know
Didn't you think to look and see how many they won in last year?
But it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Why?
Because they're not a major power. They didn't win anything gold.
They didn't win anything gold?
No.
Is that your answer?
What?
Is that your answer?
You haven't asked me that. You've asked me how many medals they won.
How many medals did they win?
Medals.
Medals in total, yes.
Gold, bronze and silver.
Exactly right.
They won 2.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Incorrect.
No!
Ha venido a creare un problema.
How many they won?
They won 11. They won 5 golds, 2 silver and 4 bronze. So I'm sorry to say, Porky, that you have surpassed yourself here with 0 out of 10.
Well, the audience can tell the poverty nature of the questions. They're ridiculous.
They were very good
You didn't
questions.
ask me about the Bay of Pigs.
I did.
You did
I asked
not.
you who the CIA director was.
That irrelevant.
Oh, he was only the guy in charge.
You didn't ask me about the Cuban Missile Crisis, Khrushchev.
Khrushchev's not about Cuba, is it? It's about Russia.
And he was sending missiles to Cuba.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me about, all the things that have happened. You didn't ask me about Fidel Castro. You didn't ask me about Che Guevara. What about...
He's not from Cuba.
Che Guevara was the most famous Cuban exile.
He wasn't Cuban.
It doesn't matter. He conquered Cuba with Fidel Castro.
But he wasn't a Cuban.
Why didn't you ask me a journalistic question like who took the famous picture of Che Guevara?
What do you mean?
Albert Korma, the famous photographer, took that picture.
Well,
I know so much about Cuba. He didn't ask me anything I know about.
You don't even know how far it is from Miami.
I knew exactly how it was. Oh, far. It's 97 miles.
No, it's not. Incorrect.
It's rubbish questions.
Anyway, 0 out of 10. It's been on Facebook Live. It will remain on Facebook Live.
Our followers will be my judge. Our followers will be my saviour.
Yes, we shall see. That was the Porky Quiz. 9 out of 10.